Thank you for joining us for The Sky Above, where we give you a heads up literally on what to look up for in the sky this month, plus in-depth conversations from people paving the way for space exploration. I'm meteorologist Leah Pizzetti. Here's what's heading your way right now on this August episode. What is known as the most impressive meteor shower of the year is almost here. We'll tell you when is the best time to look up. Plus, we have both a solar and a lunar eclipse arriving in August, but will people in the United States be able to see? We have that answer. And later on, a Washington-based astronaut joins me to tell me how a national contest got him to space. He shares how Washington helped prepare him for orbit and lessons learned while he was out of this world. Thank you for being with us this month. I'm joined, as always, by NASA Solar System Ambassador Keith Crum. Keith, it is so good to see you this summer.
Yeah, great to see you too. I'm so excited about August. I mean, it's just going to be a great month for night sky.
I'm going to be honest, I love every month. I love every episode that we do, but knowing what we are about to talk about, I think this is my favorite month we've done so far.
I agree. It's things are lining up well.
Yes, and there's a lot to get to. So let's start where we always do, with our full moon. It's at the end of this upcoming month.
Yep, end of the month. So the 27th is the grain moon and the green corn moon. So I just took a road trip to South Dakota.
Okay.
And it's really easy to see why it's called the grain moon and the corn moon, because it's like hundreds of miles of that.
Okay.
Let's not forget it's the sturgeon moon in native culture. So.
Yep. So
appreciate that.
Full moon at the end of the month, but then of course we have our new moon, August 12th. And that is a day I want everyone to lock into their brain because we have a lot going on in that mid-August range. We love a new moon because that's when the moon is the smallest, offers the least light. We have a nice dark sky, and it aligns perfectly with the August meteor shower.
Yeah, the Perseid meteor shower peaks on the day of the new moon. It's just great because we've talked about so many meteor showers and like, well, there's a full moon that day, you know.
Right.
So this time, new moon is going to be great.
Well, and summer also oftentimes lends itself to clear skies, no weather impacts as well. So of course we'll keep an eye out, but conditions are looking favorable for this one. Okay, so this is considered, the Perseid meteor shower is considered the most popular meteor shower of the year. Why is this one so special?
You know, because of the sheer volume of them and the fact that it'll stretch out over days. So that peak is 90 to 100 meteors an hour.
Wow.
You know, I always say I'm happy if I get to see 3 an hour or 1 an hour.
Yeah.
But, you know, to be at 90 to 100 on that night, it will just be great. And also, since that's kind of midweek, the 12th, I'm actually going to be down in Goldendale a few days later, and it'll just be a little bit off the peak, but it'll still be good.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, and that's the thing too. It starts end of July technically, and it continues through August 23rd. But that peak, August 12th and 13th. But if someone is not able to get out and about on the 12th, 13th, you can still view it around then and see some impressive meteors. 100 meteors per hour.
Yeah, that would just be spectacular. I'm so excited about getting out there this year.
Yeah, and okay, so face the northeast. And you can watch the entire sky, right?
Yeah,
oftentimes we say a direction.
Yeah, we say a direction, that's where the so-called radiant is coming from. But, you know, just lay down on the ground or in a zero-gravity chair, look straight up at the zenith, because they can come from any direction, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man, and try to snap a photo. Is it kind of hard?
Yeah, that'd be an interesting exercise. People do it. I've not done it, but yeah. People do it.
Okay. This month we also have a rare event to look forward to, a total solar eclipse. August 12th, there's the magic day, August 12th.
Same day.
But only parts of North America are going to be able to view this one. Let's first talk about who on the globe will be able to see this.
Good, yes. So the full total solar eclipse will be through Greenland, Iceland, and Spain.
Perfect.
You can kind of see that on the red part on that graphic there. You can also see the yellow lines extending down into North America, if you will. Vancouver will get about 10 to 15%. Vancouver, Washington. Not Vancouver, Washington. Vancouver, BC.
BC.
So look there. Make sure you have good solar glasses always on, you know, the eclipse glasses.
I love it. Okay, so Spain, they get the glorious view of this.
Yeah.
And also the World Cup celebrations.
Yeah.
How lucky are they?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, and then parts of North America will have partial viewing, like you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Here's a closer look at that. Alaska has between 20 to 60%. Most of Canada does have some partial viewing. So the states northeast, from North Carolina up to Maine, have up to 40% viewing. So womp womp Washington.
You bet.
But again, August 12th.
Yep.
Mark your calendar.
Yep.
Gosh, it's the magic day. Okay, that's the
All right.
solar eclipse.
That's the solar eclipse,
We
yeah.
also get a partial lunar eclipse.
You know, and this one is going to be really beautiful.
Is it?
Because the eclipse will be starting when the moon rises. So the moon rises about 7:50 p.m.
Okay.
and it'll be at maximum at 9:12.
Okay.
So you can just get out there and see it coming up. As it comes up, it'll be in eclipse.
Okay.
So you'll start to see the red. You know, the red
Glow.
from the glow. Yes, thank you. And so, yeah, so that'll be beautiful. It's 93 to 96%. So
Wow.
that's almost as good as a full eclipse, but it's not really a full blood moon that we talk about. So, but it'll be beautiful just because it'll be right there at moonrise.
And we should note that sunset at that point is 8 p.m., right around 8 p.m. So maximum eclipse 9:12 p.m. That's perfect. It'll be dark out. We'll get to see that. So maybe like 8 to 10 p.m. head outside.
Yeah, I would say I'm going to go up to actually to the Snoqualmie Point Park.
Oh, okay.
It'll be up a little altitude there, out toward North Bend, and look east. I've been to moon rises there before, and they're spectacular.
I'm sure the Seattle Astronomical Society has plenty planned.
Yeah,
That is what you all do best.
Yes, that's what we do. That's what we do.
Awesome. Okay. So those are our eclipses, both solar and lunar. That feels rare that we have 2 in 1 month. We can do some digging on just how rare that is.
It happens regularly.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's kind of rare.
I still think it's special.
Yeah.
Okay, something also exciting that is happening this month. A telescope is set to launch. I always love when we get these milestones.
Yeah.
So the goal with this one is to try to answer some deep questions about our universe. It's called the Nancy Grace Roman Telescope, otherwise known as the Roman Telescope.
Roman Telescope.
It's a mouthful. It's expected to launch August 30th at the earliest. It's going to be joining the James Webb Space Telescope at Lagrange Point 2. The James Webb Telescope, as you all remember, I'm sure, launched at the end of 2021. We expect the first images from the Roman Telescope, this new one, to come out in December. So it'll take a couple months. But what's the difference between this and the James Webb Telescope?
It's largely the field of view.
Okay.
So the idea with the Roman telescope is to get a big swath of sky, 100 times wider field of view than JWST.
Okay.
And then they can help JWST and other telescopes hone in on specific things.
Okay.
You know, like it's expected to find 100,000 new exoplanets.
Oh my goodness.
So that's going to be astounding to find all those maybe more that are actually in the habitable zone, you know, where like we are.
Wow.
Like we're in the habitable zone of
Incredible.
our solar system. Yeah.
So this is kind of the wide view, and then James Webb will be able to zoom in on things you want to study more.
Yeah, and also in that wide view, you can see more things related to dark energy, dark matter, different galaxies, maybe black holes and supernova. So you get that wide view where you can find a lot of these things and then hone in on them with other telescopes.
Incredible. I feel like every time in the last couple of years we've launched one of these telescopes, the discoveries that come in the months, it's so fast, months following is astronomical.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So dark matter, dark energy, galaxies, a lot to uncover.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of telescopes, the summer months are some of the best for sky gazing.
Yeah.
And we have a couple noteworthy things we want you to keep an eye out for. One of those is the Milky Way.
Milky Way, yeah. I mean, it becomes really directly overhead this time of year. It's not further south, but directly overhead. So, and it's, you know, that's just beautiful. And lots and lots of things to see if you look toward the south at the core of the Milky Way.
Can we rapid fire some of those lots?
Oh yeah, nebula, different nebula, star clusters, many things like that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And speaking of dark sky viewing, as
Yeah.
you have successfully done for the year plus that we've been doing the show, you always have your red light viewing tip A different way every time. I don't know how you do it. What's your red light of the week this week?
Well, this is a power bank, but it has a red light in it. So, which is really cool. I like it because you can set it down, and then actually, when my telescope runs out of juice, I can plug in my power bank that has the red light in it, and there we go. This is a C-Star smart telescope. These are the newest and greatest, latest things. They're fantastic.
Incredible.
We're looking at the core of the Milky Way.
Incredible. Keith, you never cease to amaze me. Thank you so much for your time.
Great.
Still ahead, a Washington-based astronaut joins me. We'll hear his story of losing a contest to go to space, but he ended up going anyway. Astronaut Chris Sembroski joins me after the break. Welcome back to The Sky Above. Joining me now is Chris Sembroski. Chris, thank you so much for being with me today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Leah.
I am fascinated by you. You have a lot of hats that you wear. My personal favorite is commercial astronaut.
Right? Yeah, that's one of those that I tend to bury the lead when I meet new people. And then, oh, by the way, there was that one time I had a trip to space, and then the whole conversation changes direction.
I love it. Okay, well, we're going to definitely change into that direction. But before we get to your journey in space, let's talk about your interests and your studies before becoming an astronaut. Where did it all start? How did you find this passion?
Oh, gosh. So it probably started in high school. And just like we've been talking on the show earlier, it started with me looking up at the sky. I had a physics teacher in high school that took me up to the roof where we could look up at the stars and with just a little bit of magnification, see the clusters and the galaxies and the different patterns that are hidden just outside of a regular human eye's view. And that started those curiosity questions. You know, what's out there? What can I go and explore? And so that led me to want to go build spacecraft and pursue engineering as a start of my college career.
And then you joined the Air Force?
And then I joined the Air Force, yep. Big rockets became a big passion of mine, and as a kid and moving forward, my rockets got bigger and bigger and bigger, and they got really big after a while.
I love it. And you went to space camp, you did the space thing.
I did,
From ground, from Earth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got a chance to work with kids at space camp, give them tours at Kennedy Space Center, met a lot of astronauts. My brother collected baseball cards. I collected astronaut glossies.
I love it.
Yeah, super nerd, but I loved every moment of it. And I was encouraged by my parents, which was fantastic.
Okay, so it's been in your blood, but then in 2021, you saw an ad that played during the Super Bowl, and it piqued your interest. Let's watch what you saw.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
This fall, Inspiration 4 launches as the first all-civilian mission to space. And you could be on board.
Up above the world so.
Visit inspiration4.com for your chance to go to space.
So I understand why that would catch your interest.
Good, as it did. Yeah, I pulled out my smartphone and made a little donation, and never thought I would hear about it ever again.
And that's the thing, it was donation based. This was a fundraiser for St. Jude's.
Yeah, it was a fundraiser and an awareness campaign to help the Children's Hospital in Memphis.
So you make a donation, you get entered to go to space, you make your donation, and then what happens?
Well, then a month goes by and I forget completely about this whole competition, and I start getting some interesting calls one Saturday morning. It's the height of COVID, and so we are all taking Zoom calls to meet up with our friends, and I get convinced to get on a Zoom call on a Sunday, and the mother of my children is having a mother's meeting up in the good office, so I get delegated to the playroom with butterflies hanging above me in the ceiling, brightly colored walls, and here I am getting on a Zoom call with this person who owns Shift 4 payments and someone else who's been an Air Force Thunderbird in his past career. And then all of a sudden, I find that the best man at my wedding and the guy who I launched those rockets with in college is on there as well, and find out that he also donated to St. Jude, and he won, I lost. However, he couldn't accept the prize. And so, unbeknownst to me, he gave my name to Jared Isaacman, who was the commander of our flight, and said, you should send my friend Chris to space in my place. And then 6 months later, I launched to space.
So,
and it happened very fast.
So you technically lost the contest, but
Yes.
because of your friend, you
Right.
still won.
All those directions that you take in life don't seem like they add up to something, but when you look back, there was only one path for me to be in that place at the right time, so that my friend Kyle would think about, who am I going to send to my place? Of course it's going to be Chris.
I love it. Okay, so he says, hey, Chris, it's you. And then what? I mean, this was a crew of 4 people. You were
Yep.
one of the 4.
Right.
And it was a very unique group.
Yep.
Talk about the rest of the people who were on that flight.
So when we were all civilians, none of us were professional NASA astronauts.
Mm-hmm.
Jared Isaacman was a billionaire from Shift 4 Payments. He's gone on to do pretty well for himself, as he's now the administrator for NASA at the current time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a fighter pilot, or has flown fighter jets. Dr. Cyan Proctor, she was the pilot on our crew and a geoscientist and educator. She won her seat through a Twitter contest and had a little viral moment, not showing all of her credentials, but showed her passion for art, for space through art and poetry, and that won the judges over. And then our medical officer was Haley Arsenault, and she was a childhood cancer survivor who was treated at St. Jude and now works there as a physician's assistant, has a prosthetic bone in her leg. And so we were put together as this unique group of people from all over the country, and we had to figure out, how are we going to do this mission? What are we going to do? And what sort of crew dynamics are we going to create along the way?
Incredible. And you had some training as well. And what I love about your training, you mentioned, is that, like you said, 4 strangers. You did this training and you got to tie in some of your Washington roots with this as well.
Right, so Jared has been this avid mountain climber, always seeking the next highest peak. And so he realized, well, I think the best place to get crew bonding was to go to Mount Rainier. So I got to drive down the road to meet everybody as they flew in, and he was kind enough to give us a couple of weeks notice that we're going to do this hike. Most people train for 6 months.
Yep.
And you can see the snow and ice on our hats as we're going up the mountain there. And it was the hardest climb I had never prepared for, but it was beautiful once we got to the top.
But then there was also some jet flying as well, correct?
Oh yeah, it's not just enough to be okay with things being very uncomfortable. You have to perform. You have to communicate. And so we went out to Bozeman, Montana, and flew in some of Jared's fighter jets from his aerobatic days with other really well accomplished pilots and retired pilots. And we got a chance to see Yellowstone and the headwaters of the Missouri, flying in formation. And then later, I have to say, there's really no better way to show up for your rocket launch than arriving at Kennedy Space Center in a group of like 6 fighter jets in formation, landing on the same runway the space shuttle used to land on.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. What an opportunity. Okay, so that's the training. Let's talk about the actually being in space. So Inspiration 4 launched September 15th, 2021. You were in space for 3 days. You did 47 orbits around Earth, and you were at an altitude higher than the space station, 590 kilometers.
That's right.
Tell me how those couple days were.
Those days were incredible. They went by fast, and you can imagine that, after going through all the centrifuge training and experiencing those G-forces on the ground, actually taking that step to go out of the atmosphere was so exciting. Granted, the weight of the history felt like it was on our shoulders because, I mean, the people that launched from this launch pad, like Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong, went to the moon from the same launch pad. Now we are part of that fewer than 600 people at this time that are going to sail outside the atmosphere. And the views we got were incredible. Since we didn't go to the International Space Station, we had this amazing bubble, this window that was the largest continuous window flown in space at the time, and allowed for these amazing views as if we were doing a spacewalk. And I took it on as my responsibility to capture those images, to bring as many of those back, to see those bright blue waters of the Great Barrier Reef off the coast of Australia, contrasted with the beautiful red interior of that continent, and then to see all the cloud patterns around the entire world. It's a very dynamic planet that we live on, and it was so beautiful to see and such a great experience to share with my crewmates.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a reminder of how lucky we are.
Oh, we are very lucky to be here, and we took that with us. In fact, Haley, being a physician assistant at St. Jude, made it sure that while we were on orbit, we took the opportunity to speak to some of her patients. And they got a chance to ask us questions, and they were so sweet. Some of the best questions I think I've ever been asked. Like, are there cows on the moon, for one?
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. And it was so sweet, and it was one of the best moments we had of our entire flight.
And I want to show, there's a fun photo here. We have a photo of you with your ukulele.
Oh yeah, so my music was hugely important to me growing up, and here's a picture of Jared capturing those views as well. And so everyone in my family plays some sort of musical instrument, and so I knew I had to play music in space. And so as Jared puts it, we all did something that really resonated with ourselves. And he was saying that, I played a little song, I sang a little bit in the cupola bubble, and he said it was great to see him be himself, just as if we were at a coffee shop at an open mic night. We might go find something more interesting to do, but it was great to see Chris doing what he loved. So I think he still threatens to put that out on YouTube. But
It's never
was
too
beautiful.
late. It's never too late.
There aren't that many people that have played ukulele in space, so I'll take that.
You get to wear that with pride. I love it. Chris, I'm going to keep you here.
Okay.
We are going to take a really quick break, but when we come back, I'm going to ask Chris what his biggest takeaways were from this out-of-this-world journey. Plus, of course, as we said, this was a trip in the name of fundraising. Chris will tell us about the incredible amount raised for St. Jude on this trip. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Washington's own astronaut, Chris Sembroski, still with me. Chris, let's keep talking about this fundraiser. So you had to donate an initial amount to be qualified, entered into this contest. Right. How much was ultimately raised?
Well, many people were donating while we were in space, and ultimately we raised over $240 million for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Incredible.
Which is an amazing hospital. They do so much all around the world trying to eliminate childhood cancer. And if we had this opportunity to go to space and do something incredible up there, we might as well do something amazing and like trying to defeat childhood cancer along the way.
Incredible. I love an action for a greater good. And let's talk about coming back for you. Yeah. Was there a moment of reflection? Did you have an aha moment? Any big takeaways as you maybe came back to Earth?
Right. So it took a while to process everything that had happened in those short 3 days. And we would have loved to have a couple more to look out at the stars and turn the capsule around. But looking back at Earth made me realize how amazing this planet truly is to be from. And I fell in love with the places I was seeing from all over the planet. And it became my mission when I came back to realize that, okay, now I need to go to all those places. I actually didn't have a passport when I went to space. So I immediately got when I got back so that I could travel within the atmosphere to go and explore these amazing places all over the Earth that I saw from that beautiful window.
So you don't need a passport to go to space?
Funny enough, you don't.
Riddle me that. Okay, so, and you're a very busy person. You currently are working with Washington-based aerospace company Starfish, which we did feature right here on The Sky Above in our June episode. If you had the chance, would you go back?
Oh, in a heartbeat. And if you ever get a ticket, need a tour guide, give me a call. I'll show you around my favorite constellations.
I love it. Okay, well, you know what? We'll just put it out there right now. Chris and I, we are interested in going to space.
Let's do it.
You get to go back. I'll go for the first time. And Chris, also, there was a documentary on the process on Netflix. What's it called if people want to watch?
Yeah, it's called Countdown Inspiration 4 Mission to Space.
I love it. Chris Sembroski, you are a fascinating person. I love your story. Thank you so much for your time today, and check out the Netflix documentary. All right, well, that does it for us here on this August episode of our monthly astronomy show, The Sky Above. I'm your host, meteorologist Leah Pizzetti. We will be back with you next month for a brand new episode discussing everything flying through the sky.